Hey you guys, it's me Gemstone. I hope you're doing well. Oh, this is a video that I've been trying to make for ages because I've accumulated all these decks and I was like, I wanted to do reviews of them, I wanted to show them to you guys and all that cool stuff. I've been doing so many things with my tarot decks. I've been doing a lot of things I've never done before. Like I've been trading decks, so been like swapping them for new decks, buying ones, just all kinds of stuff. I've accumulated so many and I don't know what it is. Like I just feel like I've gone through this kind of I've always loved tarot and I've always been sort of, you know, kind of, I won't say obsessed. Like I don't feel like it's ever been an obsession. I would say a fascination and something that I love. And but like when it came to about August of last year, I just got this feeling like, okay, let me just buy these decks because I don't know when I'll have the chance to maybe get as many and all this other stuff. And since then, I've just kind of been buying and exchanging and all this kind of stuff. So I've accumulated all these different decks. And I kind of feel a bit bad that I haven't really showcased any of them because I kind of feel like with me, even though I don't really look at myself as a tarot collector, really. I look at myself more as a reader that just has a number of different decks that they work with. However, like over time, it's kind of become more like a collection. And for me, I kind of have mixed feelings about that because I kind of feel like I don't want it to turn it into like a hoarding situation. Like I don't want to accumulate too many because then I'll feel like it's taking up too much space. Am I really using all of these decks? And that's kind of the stage I've been in now. Now I'm kind of questioning, you know, okay, which ones am I using? If I'm not using it, it's best to kind of sell them on or to trade them because at least somebody else might actually be, you know, using it and they will enjoy it and whatever else. So, as well as I've been buying, I've also been clearing out as well. So one deck that I really was anxious to show you guys, and I tried to do the video and it was always sort of messing up somehow and I just didn't feel good about uploading it, is this deck. Now I've had this, when did it, I received mine in September, but it was a part of a GoFundMe that was created by this lovely woman who the business she has is, I don't want to mess it up, so I need to find the right card, but I think I've actually mixed it up in the deck itself. There we go. This deck was created by this lovely lady here. Really beautiful, and she is basically the creator and the art director. She is Fontaine Felicia Foxworth, and her company is the Brown Girl Inc. And this is the Brown Girl Tarot. And I bought this basically a part of it. I paid money into a GoFundMe to purchase this deck. And I actually communicated with her as well directly, and she was really, really lovely. And when you supported their GoFundMe, she gave you like this really miniature reading, which was on this little paper here, but it was it was so funny because it applied directly to what I was going through at the time when I received the deck. And I was like, wow, like it was, you know, a snapshot of a reading, but it actually was very relevant to what I was experiencing at that time. It also came with, was it Palo Santo, was it called? The little like incense. I've already used that because like I said, I've had this deck for a while now because I received it in like September and we're in January. So that got used. And it also came with this little nice little satin bag, which comes in either brown or gold. And you also get a little clear quartz, which is lovely. And I love that she actually gave a crystal as well, because that's really special. And I've just always kept it with this deck, because obviously it belongs with this deck. So the reason why I think this deck is something so exceptional and special, and why I felt like, even out of all the decks I've accumulated, I felt like the review that I would finally make had to be this one first, is because I am so grateful that we are seeing more and more diversity in tarot. It is something that is so necessary. I feel like there are so many instances where we as people of color, like, our voice is not heard, our expression isn't seen, and it's like, I think even when our expression is seen, it never really seems to receive the praise or the value that it really should, you know, in terms of, I guess, getting any form of real credit or anything else. It's like there's always some kind of way that it just seems to become kind of devalued in some way, shape or form, unless somebody else gets a chance to kind of profit from it and all that kind of stuff, which let's not even get into. But this deck is really something special, because I think in my hearts of hearts, I've always thought to myself, if there was ever a deck that represented the experience of like a woman of color, and to really feel a close attachment and really feel like it kind of represents me in some kind of way, this deck would definitely be it. And I'm just so grateful that it was created. Like you can see, this is the 9 of Cups, and it's just beautiful. Basically, this deck was created based on photographs that have been taken of women of color, but it also has some kind of some digital modifications, like in some of the cards as well. But the feeling that I get from this deck, that's the 5 of Wands, is very, like, it feels like when I'm with my friends. Like, it feels like when me and my friends are hanging out and we're joking and we're having fun with each other. Basically, this deck does follow the Rider-Waite symbolism, so it's really easy to read. I literally read with this deck, I used it for a client reading, actually, the first day I got it, which says a lot, because usually I will never do that. Like, I'll never literally have a deck, you know, that I bought and received that day, and use it for a client. I wouldn't. I always sort of give myself time to kind of play with it, work with it, and get to know it. But this, it just, the connection was instant, you know, and it's just something to me that is so special. And you know, like I told you guys, I've been trading decks and selling them on this deck. I could never imagine giving away or selling or anything ever. Never. Like, I think even if I stopped reading tarot, I honestly don't think I could give this away, because it's just something so meaningful to me. And it's not just meaningful just because it's a tarot deck. It's just meaningful because of the fact that it's something that's been created to kind of acknowledge our experience, you know. And it has this feeling to it that is just so familiar. And I think that's kind of maybe what has kind of been missing with my experience with, like, even though I have a number of decks, like, I kind of feel like that kind of feeling of having a deck that almost feels like it was created for me personally, is something that I've never quite felt with the deck before, whereas this feels like it has been, you know. And it reads amazingly well. It's very clear, it's very honest, it's very, but it's at the same time, it's comforting, you know. It's, again, it just feels like when you're around your girlfriends, that's almost the way it delivers the message. It's like that girlfriend that is honest with you because they love you kind of situation, you know. And that's how this deck makes me feel. Look at that card. I know it's not showing up like really great, and that's why I really was delaying making this video, because I so wanted it to really show the cards properly. And it's like, it's such an issue, like, between my phone and the lighting isn't that bad, but my phone isn't picking it up that great. But you're kind of getting the idea of it all. But that Strength card is just amazing. I just love it, love it, love it. And it is, you know, a very, it does honor the divine feminine, as you can probably see. It's all women in this deck. Like, even this is the Emperor, but obviously you see a woman here, you don't see a man. And then obviously you see the astrological symbols. I don't think that the astrological symbols aren't in all the cards. I think they only show up in the majors. But that's entirely okay. Most decks are like that anyway. But it is really something amazingly special, I feel this deck is. And I believe now you can get it on Etsy. So if you want to order it, that's where you go. And look how gorgeous that is, the Two of Cups. Beautiful. So it does, you know, also honor same-sex relationships. So for those of you, you know, that are, you know, you read for others, this might be a great deck to use for, you know, a relationship. You can use, obviously you can use it for any kind of reading anyway, but I feel like it's great to also have decks that do honor different kind of relationships, and, you know, that also honor all of us. Like, you know, I think that's the thing with the tarot, is obviously the tarot is an old system. And I think so many decks have been based off of that old system that it almost doesn't incorporate a lot of modern, a lot of modern ideas, you know. And so that's why I think it's so great that we kind of have this wave now where there's so many tarot decks that are expressing all different kinds of points of view and showing all different walks of life. Because to me, that is so important, that just like I can identify with this deck because it you know, shows women that look just like me, that look like my family, that look like my friends, that look like, you know, a part of my community, part of my heritage. It's also important to have other decks that to me give that same feeling to somebody else that is also a reader or also just enjoys tarot or is a tarot collector, that they can identify with in a similar kind of way, you know. It's just really special to have that. And I think it's so great that there are loads of decks now that are coming out that are honoring, whether it's same-sex relationships, whether it's, you know, different cultures, different practices, different belief systems, all kinds of things, you know. So there literally is a tarot deck out there for everyone, you know. You're always going to find something that suits you at this stage in, you know, in kind of how tarot has evolved over the years. And I think that's just amazing. And this girl is so beautiful. All of them are just, all the people in this deck are beautiful. But because, and that's what I love about it as well, is it's they're all women of color, but there's so much diversity. Like, they're different shades of women. Some of the, you know, they're showing different hair textures, different hair types. And that's another important thing, because, you know, within kind of our kind of communities, the brown skin communities, all those things are important to us, you know, all of those things, even with hair types. Like, I remember, you know, going natural originally, and, you know, being on all them forums and on YouTube and being a part of that kind of natural hair community. There was so much dialogue surrounding hair and the, you know, how a black woman should wear their hair, what it means if you wear a weave, what does it mean if you were natural. And then, you know, we kind of had that phrase, I think they still use it up to now, like natural hair Nazis, you know, women that think that all black women should be natural and all this kind of stuff. And it was like, it's, you know, hair seems like such a basic thing. But, you know, when you go into those spaces where people are having that kind of dialogue, you start to see, you know, in the black community, hair isn't just hair. It's not just hair. You know, there's so many layers to it all, you know. And I think that's kind of goes for black people all over the world, you know, whether it's in America, in the UK, Africa, the Caribbean. There's certain things that show up that, you know, we all can relate to and kind of connect with, you know. And so it's amazing. I love that card as well. I love a lot of the cards in this deck, as you can probably tell. But I just think it's amazing. And I think more people need to get this deck, need to support the creator of this deck. They need to be in support of creators that are that support diversity. Honestly, that's what it is. That really support diversity and that are creating things that, you know, are for everyone, yes. But then they also are for those that voices and their expression isn't heard and their likeness isn't depicted so much. And so I just want to say a huge thank you to Felicia. Oh, Fontaine is her first name and middle name Felicia. I just want to say a big thank you to her for creating this deck and for giving me something that is so special and so meaningful. And I'm truly going to cherish it like forever and ever. It's just so amazing. A part of me actually wants to do a reading right now with it. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's see. So we're just going to pick up on whatever energies are coming through right now for just anyone watching the video. Because we're going through a lot of interesting times right now. Universally, you can just feel it. With all the things that's going on, it's just a different kind of energy that's around. So let's just see. We have the King of Swords. Okay. So let's see what follows. Let's see what follows the King of Swords. Have the Three of Wands. And we have the Knight of Pentacles. Do you know what? The first thing I was kind of seeing is conflicts with those first two cards, the King of Swords and the Three of Wands in this depiction. I kind of feel like there's a lot of disagreements, a lot of arguments, a lot of things where people are needing to discuss things that might be quite challenging and quite difficult. I think that we're really in a time of great and significant change on a huge scale. And I think before the change can really come about, there has to be so many uncomfortable conversations that need to be had, a lot of dialogue that needs to be had, because that's the King of Swords. The King of Swords, you know, is connected to communication and also a problem solver as well. So it's like, how can we resolve things through communication, through dialogue, through talking? And it's like sometimes we're going to disagree with each other. Sometimes there's going to be issues. Sometimes, you know, even there's situations where people's reputations get tarnished. A lot of things are being brought out into the open, like we're seeing as well. A lot of truths are being told. As the King of Swords as well is a truth teller. So a lot of people are going to feel like they're under attack or being persecuted in some kind of way. But the thing is, I feel like all of this has to happen because we have to learn something from this experience that's being created, and that's the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is older than the Page, so we should have reached a point where we are more mature to be able to discuss quite difficult subjects and things quite openly and quite easily. But I think at the same time, we have to have sensible conversations. And another thing is we can't be too... yes, we can be very passionate about what we believe, but we have to be careful of not getting to the point where we are literally just tearing down people for the sake of tearing them down, and we're actually allowing for us to build something that creates a better foundation for us all, you know, a better environment for us all. So I think that's what we're moving towards this year, and I think even the coming years that are going to be showing up. There's going to be a lot of unrest that's going to take place, but all of these things that are being dragged out into the open, all the unrest that's being created and the issues are to create some kind of new foundation for us all, so that we can all learn from and we can all grow from, and we can build something even better in the future as a result of that. So, yo. Peace and many blessings to all of you guys. I'll be seeing you. Bye.